वेलकम बैक टू अनदर वीडियो और आपका
स्वागत है।
आज जो वीडियो हम लेकर आए उसका टाइटल है
नीतीश तिवारी हैज द राइट विजन टू मेक रामायणा।
तो चलिए देख लेते हैं ये वीडियो, लेकिन इससे पहले
इस वीडियो चैनल का ओरिजिनल लिंक आपको हमारी वीडियो की डिस्क्रिप्शन मिल जाएगा। सब्सक्राइब किया, लाइक शेयर को फॉलो करें चैनल को। उसके अलावा ब्लॉग चैनल का लिंक इंस्टाग्राम लिंक भी हमारी वीडियो की डिस्क्रिप्शन मिल जाएगा। सब्सक्राइब किया, लाइक शेयर को फॉलो करें।
चलिए देख लेते हैं ये वीडियो।
The Ramayana movie has been creating a lot of buzz lately, and in the coming months, with more trailer drops and character introductions, the hype will continue to grow. I have already done 2 videos on this subject, one about Ranbir Kapoor as Lord Ram and the other about the producer Namit Malhotra, but the discussion is incomplete without discussing the director Nitesh Tiwari.
Ramayana is the story about morals, about principles, about relationships, about people, and that's what's going to remain at the core.
In this video, we'll break down how Nitesh Tiwari can structure the perfect Ramayana Part 1, outlining what Part 1 could contain, as well as how he can avoid the missteps of previous adaptations and do justice to this immortal tale. But before we get into the deep dive, let's talk about Nitesh Tiwari's directorial signature. Nitesh Tiwari's filmography consistently demonstrates a directorial philosophy that aligns remarkably well with the demands of adapting an epic like the Ramayana. His strength lies not merely in telling stories but in showcasing narratives with profound emotional resonance and character-driven authenticity. From co-writing and directing acclaimed feature films such as Chiller Party, Dangal and Chichore, earning multiple national awards, his body of work consistently reflects a belief in creating work that not only entertains but enlightens as well. Nitesh is recognized for his discerning eye in casting and his emphasis on performance over mere star power. When you look at the casting of Ranbir Kapoor, who was chosen specifically for his serene presence, quiet strength and emotional depth rather than his box office draw, it tells you exactly what Nitesh Tiwari is aiming for.
हाँ वो तो है ही, आप देखोगे ना उसके चेहरे में जो एक कामनेस है वो तो चाहिए थी ना.
Nitesh Tiwari wants to completely step away from the overtly theatrical, one-dimensional portrayals that plagued the past adaptation. By focusing on detailed character arcs, strong emotional resonance and the life lessons from Ramayana, Tiwari is trying to elevate the Indian epic from a mere visual spectacle into a deeply moving human and divine drama. You cannot cram Valmiki's Ramayana into a standard 3-hour runtime. If you try, you end up with a rushed highlight reel. And that is exactly why the 2-part structure is essential. It's not a marketing gimmick, but an honest attempt to go deep into the nuances of the Ramayana.
Ramayana became that story for me to say, how do I take it? That's the evolution of the planet. That's the first civilization in the world. That's the greatest epic.
Now, if you are subscribed to the channel, you know I have already talked about the casting controversies and the immense pressure surrounding this film in previous videos. So this video will only focus on Nitesh Tiwari, the director, and how the movie will be structured in Part 1, starting with Ravan's story in Part 1, because I believe Part 1 could start with introducing Ravan to the audience. This is just one of the 2 theories I have, the other one I will talk about later in the video. Now, in the first glimpse of the Ramayana that was released last year, 2 messages were shown at the beginning. The first was an opening shot of the existence of time and the 3 lords, Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu and Lord Shiva. In Hindu belief, these 3 gods are of great importance. They are called the Trimurti, which literally translates to 3 forms. Lord Brahma is the creator, Lord Vishnu is the preserver and Lord Shiva is the destroyer. And they are not separate gods but rather different sides of the same ultimate power, Brahmand, the universe itself. And the second message was when their creation threatened to take over the 3 worlds, and that creation is none other than Ravana. Ravana, as many of you know, is the powerful king of Lanka. He is often depicted with 10 heads and is known as a devout follower of Lord Shiva, a brilliant scholar, a great ruler and a maestro of the Veena. Through intense devotion and penance, he gained amazing powers and weapons from both Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. Lord Brahma had also granted him a boon of invincibility to all creations of Lord Brahma, except for humans, as Ravan considered them beneath him and did not include them in his request for protection. Using the powers and weapons Ravan received, he was causing a lot of chaos on earth, and the other gods asked Lord Brahma for help. That's when Lord Vishnu stepped in, whom Ravan did not worship. Lord Vishnu promised to reincarnate as a human, whom we know as Lord Ram, to defeat Ravan, as his invincibility boon did not extend to humans. In the first glimpse, Ravan is shown in a dominant red color, with the text reading, "Power and Revenge." We already know Ravan gained immense power through the special boons and weapons he received from both Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. His red color further emphasizes this overwhelming strength. So by combining the two messages at the start of the glimpse and the color palette to describe Ravan, the movie suggests that the first part will likely reveal a significant portion of Ravan's backstory. In Adipurush, the first scene showed Ravan, played by Saif Ali Khan, getting boons from Lord Brahma, so it's likely part 1 of Ramayana could start similarly. Here is where Tiwari's grounded approach will shine, making the audience feel the physical toll and the absolute terrifying obsession that drove Ravan to such extremes. In an interview, Nitesh Tiwari remarked that Ravan is more than just a dark character compared to what he is usually portrayed in the Ramayana retellings. The filmmaker explained that it's important to show all these facets of Ravan because it's a very important lesson where one can have all these great qualities, but if they are governed by vengeance and driven by ego, then the result will never be good. Of course, this is a highly controversial topic and a source of social media backlash. But without digressing, let's table that for a future discussion. Another important storyline that we will likely see will be how Ravan gets hold of the Pushpak Viman. The Pushpak Viman, as described in the Ramayana, was a magnificent, divine flying chariot created by Vishwakarma for Lord Brahma, later owned by Kuber and then seized by Ravan. It was notable for travelling at high speeds, sometimes described as mind speed, and was used to abduct Ma Sita. The opening shot that we see in the Lord Ram teaser is likely the fight between Ravan and Kuber, the aftermath of which leads to Ravan seizing the Pushpak Viman. So 3 major segments of Ravan in part 1 will be shown: his penance and boons, the Pushpak Viman siege, and the abduction of Ma Sita.
बड़े खतरनाक मोड़ पे पार्ट 1 खत्म होगा अगर हुआ तो.
Now let's head to the Lord Ram story, and for that, let's head to Ayodhya. Now, if the first scene of the movie isn't Ravan fighting Kuber for the Pushpak Viman, there is another strong possibility based on what we saw in the teaser. It could actually be the ancient war between the Devas, the gods, and the Asuras, the demons, known as the Dev Asura Sangram. There is a brief shot of someone falling amid a massive chaotic battle, and it could be Kaikeyi. Now, why is this scene so important? In this battle, King Dashrath, riding a chariot, was facing the Asuras in 10 directions at the same time. During this time, the bolt on one of the wheels slipped out and the wheel was about to disengage when Kaikeyi inserted her thumb into the bolt hole and kept the chariot steady. When King Dashrath learned about this, he was pleased and offered Kaikeyi 2 boons, which she later used by asking the king to ask Lord Ram to go into exile for 14 years and to have her son Bharat crowned king of Ayodhya. From that intense history, the narrative will likely shift to Lord Ram's early years and his education. We have all seen the warrior side of Lord Ram in the Lanka war, but Nitesh Tiwari will also show us the warrior side of Lord Ram before he went into exile. This shot shows him fighting Tadka, a powerful man-eating Yakshini turned demoness who terrified sages and destroyed forests, serving as the first demon Lord Ram killed. Tiwari's direction here will likely strip away the typical mass masala slow motion tropes. Instead, expect a highly tactical raw encounter that establishes Lord Ram's physical capabilities and his unwavering commitment to protecting the innocent, setting up the stage for the Swayamvar of Ma Sita in Mithila. In the teaser, we get a magnificent shot of Lord Ram standing with the Pinaka bow, the incredible heavy divine bow of Lord Shiva. As we all know, stringing and ultimately breaking this bow is what wins him Ma Sita's hand in marriage. But breaking that sacred bow also brings a massive, unexpected consequence: the encounter with Lord Parshuram. As Lord Ram, Ma Sita and the royal family return to Ayodhya after the wedding, their path is blocked by Lord Parshuram, the 6th avatar of Lord Vishnu, who is furious because Lord Ram had broken the Pinaka, the divine bow of Lord Shiva, whom Lord Parshuram revered as his guru. In this encounter, Lord Parshuram challenged Lord Ram to string another bow, the sacred bow of Lord Vishnu called Sharang, to prove his strength. Lord Ram took the bow, effortlessly strung it and fixed an arrow to it, demonstrating his divine power. Lord Parshuram immediately realized that Lord Ram was the 7th avatar of Lord Vishnu and transferred his own divine energy and powers to Lord Ram, confirming Lord Ram as his successor in defending Dharma. Tiwari excels at these quiet, tension-filled character moments. He doesn't need excessive dramatization to create stakes. The intense eye contact and the shift in the body language will carry the entire scene forward. And it happens just as the young prince returns home thinking his life is about to settle into peace. The peace in Ayodhya is about to be shattered, pulling us right into the emotional core of the story: Lord Ram's exile. While Ravan amasses his power and weapons, the emotional core of our story begins in the golden city of Ayodhya. We know Nitesh Tiwari excels at family dynamics, and the politics of Ayodhya is the ultimate family drama. If there is one thing Tiwari proved with films like Dangal and Chichore, it's his absolute mastery over complex family structures. He knows exactly how to build a loving household and then systematically break the audience's heart when it falls apart. We will likely see the immense love King Dashrath has for Lord Ram and the sudden heartbreaking shift when Kaikeyi, poisoned by the words of her family servant Manthara, cashes in her boons. She demands the throne for her son Bharat and a 14-year-old exiled for Lord Ram. This is the exact moment where Ranbir Kapoor's casting starts to make perfect sense. When faced with this deeply unfair demand, Lord Ram doesn't throw a tantrum. He doesn't fight for his right to the throne. He accepts it with absolute unwavering calm, showing that quiet strength, that supreme devotion to his duty and his father's word is what sets Lord Ram apart as a divine figure. The departure scene is going to be a massive tearjerker. Nitesh Tiwari himself has said in interviews that the sequence of Lord Ram leaving Ayodhya, with the entire city weeping and begging him to stay, is what makes him most emotional. We will see Lord Ram, Ma Sita and Lakshman strip away their royal silks, don the rough clothes and walk away from everything they know. This establishes the heavy, immovable weight of Dharma for the rest of the movie. Once they leave Ayodhya, the movie's tone has to flip completely. We go from the safe, structured, opulent palaces to the raw, untamed and dangerous Dandakaranya forest. This is where Tiwari can flex a different visual muscle, trading the grand 70mm style cinematic opulence of the palace for a gritty, authentic, survivalistic aesthetic in the wild. This is where the trio's bond really deepens. We see Lakshman's fierce, protective anger simmering just below the surface, in contrast to Lord Ram's peace. And we see Ma Sita, played by Sai Pallavi, adapting to this life with incredible grace and resilience. The inciting incident, of course, starts with Shupnaka, her encounter with the brothers and Lakshman ultimately cutting off her nose, ultimately fueling Ravan's massive ego to take revenge. The sequence of the golden deer luring Lord Ram away, followed by Lakshman's leaving to help his brother, builds this incredible tension. It leaves Ma Sita alone. The drawing of the Lakshman Rekha, the protective boundary, is an iconic moment. When Ravan finally arrives, disguised not as a terrifying demon, but as a humble, wandering sage begging for food, the trap is sprung. The moment Ma Sita crosses that line out of pure compassion, Ravan reveals his true, terrifying form and forcibly takes her away on the Pushpak Viman. Now, as Ravan is fleeing through the sky with Ma Sita, we get one of the most heartbreaking and heroic sequences in the entire epic, the intervention of Jatayu. Even though he is old and knows he is hopelessly outmatched by the 10-headed demon king, he doesn't hesitate for a single second. He attacks the Pushpak Viman in midair to save Ma Sita. This fight needs to be brutal, emotional and visually spectacular. It's not just a CGI bird fighting a flying chariot, it is the ultimate symbol of selfless devotion. Jatayu fights until his wings are severed and he falls to the earth mortally wounded. When Lord Ram and Lakshman later discover the broken remnants of the fight and find a dying Jatayu, it's a devastating gut punch. Even in a heavily VFX dependent scene, Tiwari's direction will remain entirely focused on the emotional weight of the loss, ensuring the technology serves the heartbreak, not the other way around. In his final gasping breaths, Jatayu gives Lord Ram the crucial information of Ravan abducting Ma Sita. Jatayu dies in the arms of Lord Ram and he performs the last rites as if he were his own father. It's a tragic moment that pivots Lord Ram into a focused, grieving warrior on a mission. And this leads us directly into the path of the Vanaras and to one of the most universally loved and anticipated moments of the entire saga, Lord Ram finally meeting Lord Hanuman. Now we know Sunny Deol has been cast to bring his roaring, massive screen presence to the role of Lord Hanuman. But there is a very critical detail here about how Nitesh Tiwari needs to handle this character visually. The audience has absolutely zero patience for weirdly modernized, overly humanized or Hollywood-style creature designs. Lord Hanuman must be represented accurately, honoring his sacred Vanar identity with distinct, authentic, monkey-like features. That physical and cultural accuracy is completely non-negotiable. The meeting itself is pure magic. Lord Hanuman approaches Lord Ram and Lakshman in disguise, trying to figure out who these two glowing, powerful warriors are wandering through Kishkinda. But the moment Lord Hanuman recognizes who Lord Ram truly is, the disguise drops. The sheer, overwhelming wave of devotion that hits Lord Hanuman, the realization that he has finally found his ultimate purpose, his Lord, is one of the most emotional beats in Indian history. This meeting is the turning point of the story. It is the moment Lord Ram realizes he isn't alone in this fight anymore. The alliance with Sugriv is forged, the massive Vanar army is mobilized, and the impossible search for Ma Sita begins. Depending on how Nitesh Tiwari paces the film, this epic meeting and the formation of the army could be the triumphed, goose-pumping inducing cliffhanger that ends part 1, leaving the audience absolutely desperate for the war to come in part 2. At the end of the day, bringing the Ramayana to the big screen is like walking on thin ice. But if there is one director equipped to handle the pressure, it's Nitesh Tiwari. By anchoring the massive budget and grand spectacle in gritty realism, emotional authenticity and profound character arcs, he has the blueprint to deliver something truly timeless. We aren't just looking at a 2-part blockbuster, we are looking at a definitive cultural reset.
You're goddamn right.
What do you guys think? Do you trust Nitesh Tiwari's vision for this 2-part epic? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Please subscribe to this channel for more such videos and check out our reaction video of the Lord Ram teaser right here. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.
बहुत ही अच्छे तरीके से उन्होंने रामायण के टीज़र को एक्सप्लेन किया और उसमें जो भी हम लोगों ने विजुअल्स देखे थे उन सब इवेंट्स को उन्होंने 1 बाय 1 जो है वो अच्छे से एक्सप्लेन करके बताया कि इसके पीछे क्या स्टोरी हो सकती है उस फ्रेम के पीछे। तो मुझे काफ़ी अच्छा लगा जिस तरीके से उन्होंने सारी चीज़ें डिस्क्राइब।
अच्छा, वैसे जो है जैसे हमने ये जो टीज़र देखा था उसमें हम अपने अनुमान लगा रहे थे कि ये हो सकता है, ये हो सकता है। फिर उसके बाद जो पहला युद्ध था, ठीक है ना, उसके बारे में हमने काफ़ी ज़्यादा अनुमान जो है वो लगाए थे, लेकिन आज बिल्कुल क्लियर शब्दों में जो है वो क्लियर हुआ कि वो युद्ध वो था जिसमें जो है जो राजा दशरथ थे उन्होंने जो रानी कैकी थी उन्हें जो वरदान दिए थे वो, यानी कि बिल्कुल ही स्टार्टिंग से जो है ना ये मूवी आपको स्टोरी लाइन के भाई वो वरदान जो वो दिए थे वो कब दिए गए थे, क्यों दिए गए थे, वो सारी वहाँ से स्टार्ट हो रही होगी।
अच्छा, वैसे हम लोगों ने टीजर देखा है, बहुत सारी डिस्कशन भी देखी हैं, तो हम लोगों ने ये तो देखा है कि राम जी और लक्ष्मण जी हैं। अभी तक भरत जी का जिक्र नहीं हुआ क्योंकि वो भी एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट रोल है बीच में। तो राजा दशरथ की बात हो रही है, कैकेयी की बात हो रही है, तो मुझे लगता है कि भरत जो हैं वो भी मुझे लगता है कि शायद एक रोल
बिल्कुल। अभी तो इंट्रोडक्शन जो है वो सिर्फ इसका आया, अभी इसके रिलीज होने में जो है वो काफी टाइम जो है वो बाकी है, यानी कि
साल में रिलीज हो रही है।
हाँ, इसी साल में हो रही है, दिवाली पे आ रही है, लेकिन अभी फिर भी काफी टाइम है। तो बीच में जो है मुझे लगता है 2-3 ड्रॉप्स और जो हैं इसके हो सकता है देखने को मिले, तो वो जब आएंगे तो मेरा ख्याल है उसमें इंट्रोडक्शन बाकी जो है जो रोल्स हैं उनका करवाया जाए।
हाँ।
क्योंकि अगर इसमें देखा जाए तो इसमें रणवीर कपूर और साथ में साई पल्लवी जो हैं, बल्कि ज़्यादा रणवीर कपूर की मैं बात करूँ, उनको ही फोकस जो है वो ज़्यादा किया गया था। तो मुझे लगता है आने इसका एक और ड्रॉप जो है वो जल्द आएगा जिसमें यश को जो है वो इंट्रोड्यूस एज ए रावण जो है वो करवाया जाएगा। तो मुझे लगता है अभी आएंगे
जो है वो
एंड इस तरह
हुआ था। बाकी कमेंट सेक्शन में आप ज़रूर बताइएगा कि आपको कितनी उम्मीद है इस मूवी से कि ये मूवी वाकई में बहुत अच्छी होगी, क्योंकि समटाइम्स ऐसा होता है हमें उम्मीदें बहुत होती हैं, बाद में लोग बहुत ज़्यादा डिसअपॉइंट भी हो जाते हैं। बट अभी तक जितने ग्लिम्स देखे और जो हम लोगों ने डिटेलिंग देखी है वो तो काबिल तारीफ है।
बिल्कुल।
कमेंट सेक्शन में आप अपनी ओपिनियन जरूर दीजिएगा। मिलेंगे नेक्स्ट वीडियो में। सब्सक्राइब करना भूलना।
गुड बाय।